Welcome y'all to another episode of the Presidential Executive. What's going on? This is your boy right here, JB. This is my brother over here, El Presidente Rag. What's going on, my boy?
Man, what it do?
You already know what it is, y'all. Y'all know whether you watching it live, put it on me, live, replay, or whatever. Go ahead and like this video right now. You help out the algorithm. I saw people last week was in the replay. Still haven't figured out how to, because some of the comments if you get on the replay on the live, it don't be on the comments when we finish. Replay, right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So yeah. That's some problem on our end. Got to figure that out. But leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? I know people hit us up, be like, "Hey man, I'm watching listen, whatever it is." You know what I'm saying? Make sure you put a comment, like the video. You know what I mean? Even if you just liking it and dropping off, then you got to come back. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and do that for us. We're wherever that you stream podcasts. There's Apple, there's YouTube, there's iHeartRadio, there's Spotify, that is Amazon Music, and Stitcher. What it do, Rack?
Man, what it do, brother?
Whew, boy, it's going well. Now, I want to go and start with the playoffs. I'm pretty sure you maybe didn't see it, but the Cavs and the Pacers just ended the game 20, 30 minutes ago.
Okay.
One of the craziest endings that I ever seen. You know what I mean? Like, I stopped watching the game because the Cavs was up by like 17, 18 points, 20 points going into the third, fourth quarter. But if you know anything about this playoffs, 20, 25-point leads don't mean anything.
Yeah, I want to say 28-point lead, ain't say.
Yeah, except with the Grizzlies. You know,
no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The Grizzlies was up 28.
Grib was up 28.
And then OKC came back. So, not even 20. You can be up almost 30 in it, ain't say.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. Now, the Pacers won 120, 118. They scored 6 points in the last 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Or so. Halliburton took the last shot, did a step back three with like 1 second left. And that was it. So they up 2-0. They up 2-0. Now, if you're familiar with the Cavs are the number 1 seed. No, they're the number 2 seed. They're the number 2 seed. And
behind Boston.
Behind Boston, I believe. They're one of them. But the Cavs were legit, and one of the reasons I didn't believe in them in the playoffs, because I was like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Just because of stuff like this, they pretty much choked that game away. I heard they were not healthy full game. I don't know who they're missing. Maybe one of their big men or something. But the Pacers are up 2-0, Rad. The Pacers are up 2-0.
Oh, yeah, no, the Cavs are number 1.
They're number 1. Okay.
Yeah, they're number 1.
Okay.
Yep.
I knew it was 1 or 2. So they were number 1 seed. And so now the Pacers, which beat Milwaukee pretty handily 4-1, have handily the advantage. I wouldn't say a sweep, but it's going to be interesting because if you remember, Halliburton, a lot of people were saying he was overrated because he started off the season real slow, real sluggish, you know. Mm-hmm. But he came on during the season, and now he's like, dude cooking. You know what I'm saying? He's looking like the best player in the series. So that's interesting, man. What you think about the series, right? We're going to get into some other series in a minute.
Anytime as you see what's on my head, like, I don't really have a dog in the fight, so it's always like, let me hope the Grizzlies do something.
Yeah.
And then that was over with pretty quick, so, I mean,
very quickly.
I'm just watching it as a fan now, because I love the game. I love the competition of it. I love good basketball. I still feel like, even though Cleveland was number 1, like, I still felt like, Boston, ideally it probably was going to be Boston in Minnesota, maybe OKC, depending on how the matchups fall. But I definitely still had Boston coming out the East. I am surprised that the Pacers are up 2-0.
Me too.
I'm not gonna say I didn't think they wasn't gonna win. Maybe 2 games.
Right.
I don't see the Cavs coming back and winning 4 in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like they might. And then they was at home.
Yeah. They lost home court advantage.
So it's like, all Indiana got to do is win 1 at home.
Yeah.
And they still got, they got the home court advantage back. So, man,
it's gonna be
very interesting. I don't even think, we can keep talking about lack of experience. Like at some point, that's got to stop being an excuse. Yeah. Like basketball is basketball at the end of the day.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like the only difference is I mean, it's still, if you've been selling out arenas, it's still the same number of fans. You know what I'm saying? Like the only difference may be you may have some more away fans that travel more, you know, when you're at home or vice versa. But it's still at the end of the day, you know, it's 10 players out on the court at a time. You know what I'm saying? 5-on-5. They don't change the size of the height of the goal or the size of the rim or anything like that. You got to go out there and ball. And so I don't know why certain people are scared of moments.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
one of them things is, like, even for me, being a ball fan, I know me and you both are real busy, and I haven't been watching the games as much. So I've been like highlights, YouTube stuff, you know, here and there. I went to sleep on the Nuggets game last night, so third quarter, so I'll wake up, you know, and see that they won after being down 2021. So I haven't been watching like I would like to, you know what I'm saying, kind of catching snapshots here and there. But, you know, like you saying, like, honestly, I guess I can't say this. I don't know if we watching this. Like, you ever had players that, whether you in practice or you seen them, where they'll hit like 15 out of 23s in practice, be shooting the lights out, whack, 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 whack. Then when they get to the game, it's something totally different, right? And so I had something like that on my team, my squad, you know. And so with any of that, whatever sport that is, it's a gap somewhere mentally. I don't know what, you know, kind of what it is. Some people just are nervous. Some people, you know, can't you know, get up during the, you know, the biggest moments or whatnot. But it's something in that you know, I think a lot of NBA players have, because I think if you hear Joe Johnson or whoever else talk about certain players, like, oh, this dude was cold, you know, in practice, they just couldn't put it together during game time. So, you know, and to your point, what you talked about, you know, the young stuff, inexperienced. That's why even when the Grizzlies were like the Grizzlies back like 3 years ago, we was looking like some contenders, talking about we the young, oh, we got another 5-6 years and I was like, nah, but we got to strike while the iron's hot, you know, because you never know. I'm being a Cowboy fan. Dak is rookie year. We had Zeke his second year. Right. Oh man, we in the play. Oh, this squad gonna be here for the next decade. We don't know that. Right. You don't know that. So whether you young or not, like I said, you hoop, you ball. You gotta strike while the iron's hot, because being young, it really ain't an excuse. Like OKC, we talking about, they think, oh, they're gonna be good for another decade. They time, I think, is now.
Right.
They need to strike right now, because it ain't gonna be no 3-4 years down the road thinking they could be, because there ain't no guarantee.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to pay everybody.
Yep.
When people get better, sometimes egos jump out. You got guys that wanna go do their own thing.
Yep.
I'm not. I don't want to be the old guy on the porch or whatever. You know, stay off my lawn. But this goes back to, and that's why I call bullshit when people say that players now are more skilled than they were back in the day. That is not true.
Nope.
The era is it's no contact anymore. You can't touch anybody. You can't really play defense. Things that are allowed now, you know, you're allowed to get away with more traveling, carrying, double dribbling. And then they make all of these reasons why you're allowed to travel or double or carry the ball, instead of saying like, nope, you took more than 2 steps, you traveled. No, well, see, what I did was I pivot, then I gathered, then I took my set. Like, dude, that's not. Yeah. Now you walking. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, to your point, like, everybody's practicing on one thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna shoot like Curry. First of all, dude been shooting like that his whole life. It's in his DNA. He come from a family of shooters. His dad was a shooter. His dad was a shooter in college. If his dad played in the era where they let him shoot 10 threes a game, a lot of these records that now probably damn near going to be impossible to catch, he would have had to catch a Dale Curry, a Craig Hodges, a Larry, because they wasn't shooting nothing but 3 a game. But to your point, you got guys now, like you said, they cold in practice, but that's the only place you're doing it at. When the game is over with, you're not staying an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours after practice, not shooting 1,000, like Curry, Gilbert Arenas, like them dudes had to make 1,000,
make it, yeah.
not shoot it. That's the difference, and that's why when to go back to last year's song, they not like us. You not like him,
Yeah.
cause he gonna get there early. He gonna stay late. He's gonna make 500, 800, 1,000 shots. You like, oh, I put up 500. How many you make though? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I shot 1,000. How many you make though? And that's why, to your point, when it's the game time, when the lights on, the popcorn popping. Now that moment too big, but then again, what you did in practice, and the practice ain't the practice with the 5 on with the team.
No.
What did you do when you was by yourself? What did you do when nobody was around, when nobody was looking? You know what I'm saying? Because me, I mean, I know you was one. You was always practicing. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So when you had your moments, you having them tournaments you was in, you was serving, literally and figuratively.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like me being on stage. Yes, I was great in practice, but guess what? When we got through rehearsing for the show or whatever, I'm at home in my mirror looking at how I look holding the microphone, looking at how I look moving around. You see what I'm saying? I'm in the car. I'm riding in my car on my way home. I'm not listening to nobody else. I'm listening to myself. Like, so when you put that repetition in, it wasn't just when I was going over the show CD.
Yeah.
Oh man, he did good. No, I did good in the car too. I did good in the mirror in the bathroom. I did good when I was laying in my bed before I went to sleep. You see what I'm saying? So like again, some of these guys, to your point, and practice is different too. Because it's not, you ain't running triangle in practice. You just throwing a basketball out there, just play. So y'all the best in the world. Everybody can play. We talked about this with Brian Scalabrine when he played those college guys. He cooked them. But he made it to the NBA. Everybody in the NBA can play. You look completely different when you got to run a system. When you got to run, and you might be, if every team got 2 centers on it, and it's 32 teams in the NBA, that means it's at least 64 centers. So now where do you rank? So now, of course, if Shaq is number 1 and I'm number 58, of course Shaq is going to dominate me. Now, if I play the number 1 college player, though, I'm going to look like Shaq versus him. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Like, man, a lot of these guys, they don't put that extra time in individually. It's only when they're in practice with everybody else.
Yep.
To Kobe's point, I didn't pass you the ball because I saw what happened. Like, you was late to practice. You was the first one to leave when practice was over with. I don't care how you played in practice. Yeah. I know your preparation.
Your work ethic.
You see what I'm saying? Exactly. You know and so you seeing that now.
Yeah. And to finish up the rest of this playoffs here, I know Indiana's up 2-0. The Knicks won against Boston the other day. They came back and won overtime. So the Knicks are up 1-0. Minnesota's playing right now against Golden State. I think Golden State is up right now. That's the first game. And Michael Jordan's son, Ant-Man. Actually, no. LeBron. LeBron is out the playoffs. Rad, do you think he should retire? Think he can hang it up?
Yes.
Officially?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
I'm with you.
I'm just sick of all the excuses. And then when it's over, when your team loses, you're in the post game. It's just basketball. It's just basketball.
He hurt his knee. You hear that? He hurt his knee.
And it's like, dude, it's always. I remember, and I think I might have shared this on one of my stories, but like they were showing. I forget who the Lakers lost to, but Jim Gray was interviewing Kobe. Mm-hmm. And Kobe talked about how, like, no, we didn't play the way we were supposed to play. Right. We got to play better. We got to do better. We didn't. They executed. We did not. And he said, and so he's like, so what do y'all got? He said, for me, he said, my offseason starts today. Meaning, I'm when I leave here, I got to put in work because I did not do everything that I could do. Or it's another level I got to go to. Yeah. And it's just about accountability. That's it. Yeah. I mean, it's okay to say, man, we sucked ass today. We got our ass kicked. We was not ready. They were more prepared. Yeah. We got outplayed. Like, I don't ever hear that. It's always, well, if I was 100%, if my knee wasn't hurt, if it was, it's just basketball. Oh, we too top heavy. Nigga, you make the damn team.
Sometimes I think LeBron, he don't say stuff like that because he got the GOAT stuff in his mind and thinking like it's gonna be a sound bite forever. So if he say that or admit that, people gonna be online taking the clip and doing, which they probably will. But the point is, I don't look at LeBron as a being a genuine guy. Like, he just seems like he just says stuff, you know what I'm saying, just to say it, or he'll politely put the blame on somebody else, or you know what I'm saying, or do something like that. Like, he didn't go. I think he said he injured his knee or something, and he was, you know, shown limping. If you remember, whenever he lost the playoffs that time, he came in with that broke wrist.
Oh, right. Yeah, the press conference, right?
Yeah. He broke his wrist or something like that. You know, when at the end of the day, whether your wrist was good or not, y'all was gonna get spanked. Period. Right?
And if they would have won, he wouldn't have came out with the wrist taped up.
Nah. So I'm with you. I'm thinking, even though I think he should retire, as far as like, you know, on top, you know, I don't think he is. I think he's gonna try to wait out to see if he can wait till Bryce come in and make maybe 2 more years, maybe, because I don't think Bryce gonna be a one and done. I think Bryce gonna be you know, probably play 2 years and then try to go to the league. But I do think that he needs to. Yeah, it's about that time, because I don't want to see him. Oh, I ain't gonna say that, because the game is different now. It don't matter, because the way the game is now, he gonna be killing until he retire, because it's not physical. You know what I'm saying? He can kind of do whatever he wants. So he always gonna average at least 26-6. You know, until he until he retires. So, but okay. So now, kind of playoffs out the way. Like, let's get into some of this real stuff. If you've seen the thumbnail, it said "Truth Hurts." And if you see, you know, Truth, you know, Paul
Player
P. Pleasure P, as we call him. You know what I'm saying? Paul Pierce was on his podcast. I don't know, something after dark or something with the young lady.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I forgot what it's called, but it's kind of growing. I know Matt Barnes was on it maybe a few weeks ago or so. Mm-hmm. And he had a lot to say, Rag. Like, talk about white women, talking about marriage. Mm-hmm. Let's get into it, man. What say you?
Oh, I mean, the thing that got my attention, and I know Dr. Umar would hate this.
Definitely.
Shannon Sharp needs to stay far away from this. But the young lady asked him, why is it that athletes, especially, well, basically black men, once you get to a certain level of status, you're making a certain income, a certain amount of money, and then more specifically, the athletes and entertainers, why is it once they make it, do they choose, you know, white women? And so, you know, what Paul Pierce basically said is that, you know, and he said he wasn't speaking for everybody, but just from his observation. And this is somebody that's, you know, with a black woman, so he's obviously not, you know, like, oh, well, this is why I do. Like, he's just, from his observation, he's like, they appreciate things more. You know what I'm saying? And even if they don't necessarily, they sure know how to fake it till they make it.
Yeah.
You know, they act like they, you know what I'm saying? Like case in point, when you watch the NFL draft, you see a lot of those guys and they, you know, their girlfriend or whoever, their significant other is there. Like, you see, you know, the young lady sitting next to, you know, Taquan or Jamal or whoever.
Right.
And she ain't studying nobody else in the room. And some of them mamas be eye rolling, the sisters be eye rolling. She ain't studying nobody else in the room. Her eyes is strictly on that guy that's dressed. She is just as happy, jumping up, waiting to get her hug. And on the flip side, when you see a brother get drafted and he's with his sister, she's in that giant mean mugging everybody. It's almost like the moment is about you and how you feel about everybody greeting him and all the hangers on and everything, and not about being happy. Like, this is probably one of the greatest moments in that person's life. This is years of work and dedication, injuries, late nights, early mornings, and I finally got to where if I'm fortunate, I can make a life out of this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm not fortunate, I'll always have this moment where my name got called out. But now with all the social media and the cameras, like when we see you in the picture, you mean mugging. You got your grill on. You mean mugging my old teachers, my old like whoever. You know, you mean mugging. Oh, they giving me you mean mugging. But like I said, now on the flip side, when you see a Caucasian woman, she's just happy to be in the building. Now, granted, in some cases, she may take you for everything, like Kelly Pitts did Jason on the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but that's with anybody though.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
when it comes to stuff like that, like I think if you're being real, if you generalize it, we know kind of the difference. You know, you can come from different angles from the perspective you did it. You can come from just the demeanor. You know what I mean? I think did he say something about him? They appreciating more or something like that.
They appreciate more.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was So what are your thoughts on it?
Oh well, I think from this conversation, I think it's something to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When it comes to the white women, you know, even being on my level, being around them, and you can just see the difference of mentality, approach, dare I say gratefulness, appreciation. And this is not to say that black women are not. They just have, white women seem to have more of an outward expression of it. You know what I'm saying? And so I do think it's some credence to what he's saying, you know, just because I've witnessed it. I've talked to others that's all that they date. You know what I'm saying? Homie went to high school with, I know he went Brian, B. Hewlett, to this day. You know, that's all he dates. Maybe married to one of them. I'm not sure, but you know what I'm saying?
I know your boy. JM used to always be with him.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So just me hearing from their experience, you know what I mean? And so it's just, you know, what's they say? Once white women say, once you go black, you never go back. And some instances with black dudes, it's like once you go white, you taking the flight. You out. You know what I'm saying? You ain't.
That's horrible.
You're not coming back down, right? And so, and I know some black women don't like to have this conversation, and some of them go to the fellatio ahead. Oh, they gonna give you, you know, all sloppy toppy, and you know, doing all that. They ain't gonna do all that stuff, and they'll pull their hair back and do. You know, you can go however many angles with it, but I do think that there is some truth to it, especially with NBA players. Giving NBA players, if you were an NBA player, you're dealing with a lot. If you're a woman, you know what I'm saying? You're dealing with, and honestly, some white women are probably more, you know, willing to adapt or be okay with being, having, you know, sloppy seconds from their guy or something. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I approve of that, but I'm thinking I've heard a lot more white women are probably more open to that idea than I would say your black woman.
I will say, because I'm probably the more worldly of us in terms of. I mean, and when I say that, what I mean is that, like, I know for a fact I've dealt with multiple ethnicities and races of women. Yeah. Multiple times, so it ain't just like, I talked to one white girl, so I know. I've talked to a lot of everybody. Mm-hmm. And again, you talking to somebody raised by black women, from my grandmothers, both my grandmothers, to my aunts, my mom. You know, my dad taught us to love black women. You know what I'm saying? I have black daughters, and I've taught them that black is beautiful, that they are beautiful. Yep. So you're not talking to somebody that's like having an identity crisis or anything like that. What I will say, and I put this caveat, in the times that I've dated, been involved, really with anybody that wasn't black, it always happened organically. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is, it wasn't like, it's matter of fact, it's the exact opposite of when I was with black women. Mm-hmm. Like, I always had to be like shooting my shot, trying to holler, taking my cape off, doing the most, and you know you ain't got nobody. The nigga you waiting on don't want you. Yeah. But I got to, like, I mean, I believe the friend zone was created for me because, like, I stayed being put in the friend zone.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, and I'll give you two scenarios. Same scenario, but, like, kicking it with a white woman. After about the third time we hung out, it's basically like, hey, whatever you want this to be, it can be. Mm-hmm. Kicking it with a black woman, I've had black women, and it's 6 months, and I thought we was just friends.
Yeah.
And I don't. I've never. You can attest to this because you hung out with me socially. Yeah. We've had time. We kick it at the house. You've never heard me when we've been around women or talking to women. Me call a woman out of her name, but like when you get hit with that, you be like, bitch, like what? Like I'm over it. Like so, me paying for dates, paying for food, buying whatever drink you like. Being over, staying on the phone with you 3, 4, 5 hours, and then you like, oh, I thought we was just cool. And like I said, on the flip side, you dealing with
right. And this is your experience.
This is my personal experience. Right.
This is not.
And keep in mind, and this is more than one. This ain't just I talked to one. I talked to two. I talked to no. This is more than.
Right.
It's been enough.
Yeah.
But like I said. By the third time we hung out, it's basically like, hey, I'm with it if you with it.
Yeah.
On whatever it is, we just being cool, but then after a while, what happens with them is like, they gonna find somebody to give their attention to if you moving too slow. So they let you know like, hey, yeah. You know what I'm saying? That they understand the assignment. Like if I show up at it ain't even got to be 10, 11 o'clock at night. It could be 8:42. Like, yeah. To that point. Now, I'm not going to say women are women, freaks are freaks, sluts are sluts. And I'm not saying, like, the best hit I ever got was from a black woman. Like, and I don't even want to, like, I don't even want to bring back the memories. But, like, if I could have a Mount, like, I promise you, all I'm going to say is whoever you got on your Mount Rushmore, she got it. Like just different stuff. You know what I'm saying? The bit like so it ain't this is why I talk to white. No, it's not that. Yeah. It's understand the assignment. If we sitting up exchanging certain text messages or having certain conversations, like when I get over there, like we talked on the phone all day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna talk on the phone tomorrow. Like when I come over here at this time, you already know. Yeah. What it is like, but again, with the sisters, a lot of times we, for whatever reason, we have to jump through hoops.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Yeah. And again, I'm not gonna like, and in some cases, like if the coochie gonna shoot out fireworks or something, or you learn how to cartwheel and land on it or something. But like, let's keep it a buck. Like this, the same ass I got last week that you making me jump through hoops for. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't got a new arch or nothing like that. You ain't learned how to do. You can't put your leg over your head now, nothing like that. Yeah. But we jump through the hoops out of loyalty, out of love, out of, my mama's a black woman, my sister's a black woman, we out of that, and we'll jump through the hoops, and then it's not so much necessarily with everybody. For some people, it is identity crisis. For some people, it is self-hating. For some people, it is you got a fetish or you got a problem. But then for other people, it's like, once I date somebody and I ain't have to jump through the fucking hoops. Yeah. I didn't have to I ain't got to. Now you better make sure you do all of, like it's still the same. Women are women. Everybody got a limit. Yeah. If you push her enough, she gonna be out the door. Oh, yeah. And again, and as Denzel would say, she leaving with something. but. Just in my experience, is that the accountability. I have never been, and maybe they don't do that. I don't know what they do with Caucasian men. Mm-hmm. I know with me, And this the craziest thing. The one white woman that I dated, and she was actually my girlfriend, that did not have any accountability, that did not apologize, was the one that acted the blackest. Like she could go to any barbecue, and when I say acted black, I don't mean she didn't dress like, but just the slang that she would use, and you know what I'm saying, like the type of music that she listened to, the way she carried it. Like if you didn't see her, you'd have thought, it was a black girl. You know what I'm saying? And I will say, like, she was so fine that when I remember we went out to the movies, when she was so fine, we passed a group of black girls and they saw her and they was like, good job, bro. That's how you know when you get and it was three of them. It was three black women. They looked above us and they was like, good job, bro. Like, that's how fine, like, she was fine,
she was it.
But that's the one who didn't apologize, but she acted the most like our people would act.
Right.
And she was the one that had a problem apologizing or being accountable and everything. Every other one that I dealt with on any level beyond just, hey, how you doing? If it was any type of semi-romance, spending time with each other, sexual, whatever. I mean, they would, if you sounded like you was offended by something, they was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, oh, forgive me. What can I do? Like, now, with the sisters, you could have footage. Like what Shaggy say, it wasn't me. Like, and you be arguing, it's like, and they will argue you up and down. Like, they will invalidate how you feel about stuff. They invalidate, why you upset, why you mad. Like, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, when you're dealing with the other ones, and that's just my experience.
Right. Now, this is what I'll say with this. Like, because I hate putting blanket statements on anything, but this is just kind of like, as an example, I've heard some white women just like, that's all they date was black men. And I'm like, why you only date black men? It's just something about them, just their look, what they say, they swag and, stuff like that, right? But that's not saying, there are some white dudes that are cooler than some black dudes. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. They don't, you know what I'm saying? So I think this is kind of the same conversation as saying this with white women. It's not saying that all of them like that, but just like, people generalize things like, to just keep it 100, in a lot of ways, in a lot of people's mind, white is right. You know what I'm saying? And so they have their own thing. Obviously not Dr. Umar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's blasphemy on that. But I think it is something that what he said. Now, what P said about, he said something about marriage I saw. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He said marriage, paraphrasing, marriage is for poor and old people. I think that's what he said, right? Now, given that, I think I don't agree with him at all with that for obvious reasons. But if you're married, you get the struggle. You get the tension back and forth and how that's going to happen. So I just think that, from his perspective and his lifestyle, where he come from the group that he's around, former NBA players, people from LA, superstars, artists, like that's their thought process, right? And so you only can grow around, people that, you can't grow beyond the people that's around you and that, that think like that. So, him thinking like that is not surprising, but, and I get, people, the Christian people like, oh my God, marriage is this, which this is true. It's fine. You won't get an argument from me, but then you got to look at the circle that he's around and where he's coming from and his perspective. And you can see why he can think that. You know what I'm saying? Like, being poor and I think he said something like he'll get married when he's 70 or something like that.
Right.
But I thought, that obviously that was off, talking about that in the marriage piece, but he's Paul P. He's the truth. Right. He's had groupies all up and down and around. You know what I mean?
I mean, probably since his sophomore year in high school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To be honest, because he was one of the top players.
He was.
In California.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I agree with him. I think that marriage is for anybody who wants to be married.
Yeah.
But I understand the sentiment. It works if both of y'all poor or y'all don't come from anything, because generally y'all know the same struggle. Y'all can build together. Y'all can grow together. If one of y'all came from means and the other one didn't, it's going to be a problem. If one of y'all came from a 2-parent household and the other one didn't, it's going to be a problem. If
something's going to clash.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And then I don't think that enough people appreciate, and they take it the wrong way when you say this, it is just as much a business decision as it is romance and love and all this, that, and the third. I mean, think about it from the beginning.
To a degree, I would say that.
But hold on, think about it. When God was watching Adam in the garden, what did he say? Is nobody suitable for him? I got to find him a help meet for him, or somebody suitable to assist him. Yeah. So the whole, even if you want to go there, part of the creation is I need you to hold him, like to hold him up, to help him do what I purposed him to do. Yeah. That's work. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So that's business. Yeah. And so if you get so caught up in the lovey-dovey aspect and the romance aspect, like, that ain't gonna be every day. That's not gonna be all the time. But like that only works like if you have nothing, which means you have time to just be at the house all day, or y'all are just billionaires and you got money being made while y'all sleep, while y'all on the toilet, while y'all in the shower, so you can afford to just be wherever you want to be, doing whatever you want, however you want it. But then, in that aspect of it is when you can afford whatever you want at some point, what can you get somebody who don't want anything? Where can you take somebody who's been everywhere? You see what I'm saying? Like, so now it's just gestures. So now if you stop being impressed, and then so to his point again, if I can buy whatever I want, what you give me this watch, that don't mean nothing. That just, I mean, I could have got this watch myself. Oh, you got me a new Rolls. Oh, okay, I got 10 of them already. Like, what's 11?
I agree. There is a purpose behind it. There is a purpose behind the whole thing. So yeah, as far as what you're saying, as far as like the business part, like yeah, I would agree with that. You have to align, not only, you know, kind of emotionally with the lovey-dovey stuff, but you got to be like, oh well, kind of in the instance, I got the Kool-Aid, you got the sugar, you know what I'm saying? Let's mix together. Let's make some, you know what I'm saying, that we can both benefit from. Right. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's monetarily, you know, emotionally, whatever. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't think a lot of us appreciate, and again, because we, you know, played individual sports and team sports, we understand that, yes, I would love to shoot the ball as much as Corey Bradford or Scooter McFadden from Raleigh, Egypt, but I don't shoot as good as them. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I'll play defense. I'll box out and get rebounds. I want you to keep shooting, because guess what I like more than anything? I like winning. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could dunk like Ja. I wish I could get those highlights, but I ain't got the hops like that. But you know what I can do? I can set a screen for him. Yeah. And I'm going to be the best screen setting motherfucker on the court so he can keep, because guess what? Every time they see a Ja highlight, you're going to see me setting the screen on somebody, him coming around the screen, and you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Or you going to see me locking somebody up, getting the steal, and throwing it down the court to him while he do a windmill or whatever. Mm-hmm. But people don't appreciate the fact that, like, when you're in certain relationships, certain things, like, if you don't do what you're doing, this whole shit fall apart. So I got to be there to make sure that you stay focused. And let me worry about the shit so you can keep doing what you're doing, so this whole thing can keep running. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And now again, it's easy when you in certain income levels. Like you said, when you get older, well, at that point, you ain't really in the grind no more. It's really about just having somebody to sit up there with you and take care of you, and you to take care of that person. And essentially that's what he's saying. When he's 70, okay, well, basically you're going to get somebody to take care of you when you're not able to move around like you're able to move around and do that, you know. But again, I don't think people appreciate is both of them. Yes, the romance is important. The alignment is important. Yeah. But then you also got to understand, and it works both ways. Like if your you know your woman is a cardiologist, well, obviously she probably making the most money. So now, if she's working on hearts all day, you know what I'm saying? I'm not finna. She ain't gonna ever have to worry about coming home and there's dishes in the sink. Even if I ain't doing it, even if we paying somebody to do them, she ain't coming home to no dirty dishes. Yeah. She ain't gonna have to say nothing to me about hanging that thing up on the wall. I'm gonna be doing my. It's a bit. You're making all of this shit possible. So guess what? I'm not gonna add no stress to what you got going. Yeah. Well, that works the other way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, well, if you out here grinding the way you grinding, doing it, because if you stop, this whole shit fall apart. Because they get to take off when it's their time of the month. They get to take off when they get depressed. Yeah. They get to take off when they get sad. They get to take off when the kids done disrespected them and their feelings hurt. They get to take off when you done disrespected them and their feelings hurt. They get to take off when they got into it with their sisters or their mama or whoever. Nigga, when you get to take off? And I don't mean like take a off day from work. I mean to mentally check out. Mm-hmm. Where you just not finna do shit. You ain't finna move. You can't. Because if you do that, it's going to be anarchy. The kids going to fucking erupt. It's going to be all types of shit falling apart in the house that you got to put back together. It is going to be problems that you have to solve. And so, and that is the business part. We got to understand and respect the fact that, look, I have something that I have to do. You have something that you have to do. If we're both doing what we are supposed to do, then guess what? Like with any job, when the business is flowing, what happens? You make money. When you make money, you get bonuses and everybody happy. So when the house is run like that and everything is flowing the way it's supposed to, well then now everybody's happy. So guess what? We're going to start enjoying because we all in a good mood.
Mm-hmm. Now everybody got a role now. Don't get it twisted when it comes to that, because at the end when I look at it, let's say just a traditional family where the man kind of takes the brunt of the responsibilities financially, and then let's say the woman not doing anything at all, but she's doing something, but she's not doing as much as, let's say, the man is, as far as stuff around the house and as far as taking care of, protecting, and doing all that stuff. Now, when I look at it, I'm like, the woman, even though she may not be participating as much financially, the part that what you're saying as far as being his peace, being home, being there for him, whether that's however he, wants it. Maybe he wants, what I'm saying, sex 4 or 5 times out the week. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he wants a plate. Maybe he just wants a certain amount of time or whatever like that, right? And so, in theory, now that comes back. If that's done, now the man is filled back up so he can go back out there and work and be as effective as he is. You know what I'm saying? So he's out there making the bread, but she's out there, he's coming back home and being like refueled, so to speak. And so making him able to go out there to grind and actually want to. And then now how I look at it is like, and then that's where the man is at his optimal. And so now that he can serve you to the level that you deserve to be served at, because now he's getting refueled when he get home. He's not adding more stress when he's coming back home. He's not, you know what I'm saying, being like, nagging or, anything else. Oh, this is not clean. Oh, that's not, you know what I'm saying. You're adding more stress. Instead of him coming home adding stress, you're like relieving it. He's like, oh snap, I can just come home and just relax and do this and do that. And so now when I go back out of my job and got to work 12 hours, 15 hours during the day, you know what I'm saying? I know I feel good because when I go home, I know I'm going to be refueled. I'm going to get recharged, so to speak, kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Anybody got an electric car, you going back home to be recharged, not, you know what I'm saying, get more tension and stress on you.
I was going to say, I think that a lot of women don't know how to be a good car salesman. And what I mean by that is,
explain that.
So, like,
what do you mean?
A good car salesman will see. He's gonna look at your income. He's gonna look at your age. He's gonna look at, what you like. If you're a quiet, reserved guy, well, you probably don't want, you want something low key.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a flashy guy, you probably want a sports car. If I walk in with 5 kids, it don't make no sense to try to sell me a Ferrari. And you might be the best Ferrari salesman in the tri-state area. But if I got 5 kids, what am I going to do with a 2-seater?
I don't need it.
I need a minivan. I need an SUV. Yep. I need something,
yep.
That can accommodate my family. On the flip side, if I walk in and I'm young, like flashy, I'm fly, I got a bag of money like DMX in that movie. You know what I'm saying? Where he had, where he had him and Anthony Anderson.
Yeah.
Like, why would you try to sell me the soccer mom man? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so again, so how does that equate to relationships? Like, all the time when you ask a woman what makes you a good woman, they will start to list off why they think they are a good woman. No, to your man or any man that you've dealt with, what made you good to him? If he had 5 kids, was you the minivan? If he was young and fly, was you the Ferrari? Like there's a lot of women who will sit up and talk about how good they can cook, and they married to fucking Gordon Ramsay. However good you cook, he don't need Anthony Bourdain. Don't need you cooking for him.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So now you got to find like what is it that he likes, dislike, what makes him tick, what makes, to your point, what makes him fuss and nag and angry. Yeah. Let me make sure that those things are eliminated so that when he comes home, he don't have to say nothing about that.
So it sounds like you're saying it's a simple thing as a supply and demand. Pretty much.
Right.
Supply and demand, because if I forgot the girl name, she would be on the Wayne skit sometimes, and somebody asked her, like, what do you bring to a relationship? You know what I'm saying? And she was like, I think maybe we talked about it on here. I'm not sure. But she was like, whatever's needed. I'm not going to bring plates. You know what I'm saying? If he already got a lot of plates. Does he need napkins? Does he need utensils? Does he need, this and that, right?
Right. Yeah, and I remember you sent me a reel on that.
Maybe I sent you a reel. I don't know if we talked about it on here or not. But that's with anybody. It could be the man or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Depending on what type of woman you have. You know what I'm saying? You need to know what you need to bring, you know what I'm saying, as far as y'all could, because the whole thing is to complement each other. I think within a relationship or marriage, and so we have to be able to complement each other. So if we're not complimenting each other, we got to know. And so a lot of us, I'm guilty as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I got, you know what I'm saying, if I got the plates, I got the napkins, I got the utensils, I got the table. Oh, I bring the same thing you got. So I mean, but we got the same thing.
Right. I don't need that.
Right. We need food. We need cocoas. We need some drinks.
Right.
We need coolers. You know what I'm saying? And so
I mean, hell, you could even bring some damn candles or something like. You know what I'm saying? Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or so, chairs, like But
yeah.
To that point, I mean, like it's a lot of times, and they will say like, "Oh, well, I do this." Okay, but I don't need you to do that. And ask for that. I'm not mad if you don't do it. The times where you don't do it, I don't catch a hissy fit because that ain't really moving the needle for me.
Right. And that's
and we are masters of when it comes to pursuing a woman to we know how to become what we need to be. And this is the crazy thing. Male, female, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Indian, whatever. Every single one of us know how to adapt on a job.
Yeah.
And we will lie on our resume and try to learn how to operate Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint. You know what I'm saying? We'll sit up and do it because we're like, okay, well, I ain't got to, if I get the job, it's going to be 2 weeks before I start, so I got enough time.
Yeah.
We would
do what you got to do to get the job done.
And we'll learn what to do in the meantime before we have to actually do it. So when we do it, it's like, oh, okay. Oh, good job, JB. And they don't even realize you just learned that yesterday. Right. But, again, we do that at work all the time. we do that when we're growing up and we want to hang out with you're a new student, so now you starting to listen to what do people watch. You might not even like Pokemon like that, but you going to get your dad to buy you the little Game Boy. You know what I'm saying? You getting the cards.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now when they talking about, oh look, I got my Pikachu card, and you just learned about Pokemon yesterday, but you do that because you want to be able to adapt and fit in. But for some strange reason, it's a disconnect when you get in relationships. It's like, I'm here. I exist.
Yeah.
Be happy that I exist.
Yep.
But then you be mad going back to the original thing when the brother go find him somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You find him because I ain't gonna lie, I'll tell you another one. Like them Asian women ain't no joke either.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I've heard. Because
they try to find now again, like, you know, that this ain't. I hadn't been with all of them.
Yeah.
But they like try to. Oh, you like this? Oh, they gonna learn how to make that. They gonna make the shit out. They gonna make it so much to where you don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they gonna try to cater to you to.
Right. And sometimes when I even think about, I think sometimes we make relationships and marriage so complicated. You know, obviously we make it like a spiritual thing, that there's a spiritual aspect to it, but then a lot of it can just be as natural as far as like, what do you bring to the what does your man bring to the table, because he's supposed to be the head. What does he bring to the table? Okay, he has this, and that. Okay, now what complements those things? Okay, so this, and that. This is what I need to do to, you know what I'm saying, maybe fit into, you know, necessarily make our household work, right? And I think a lot of times we make it so complicated, and we got so much information and these 31 ways to do this or 7 ways to do that. And, you know, we don't actually just strip everything naked and be like, no, I got the plates, I got the napkins, I got the utensils. We need some cups. We need some coolers. We need, you know what I'm saying, anything else that you can bring to put on these plates. You know what I'm saying?
Ice, hell, like
ice, what, you know, kind of whatever. So, but yeah, this actually be an episode. This actually be a great episode to get a guest on with young lady.
You know, we gonna because it was another one I was gonna send you because somebody sent it to me. I was like, yeah, we definitely need to have a topic on that joint.
Yeah. It's a couple of things.
Yeah,
it's a couple of things. Now, I saw Shannon Sharp got a new accuser. Now, and I saw something about that, and I've been kind of watching Nightcap.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different vibe to me right now. Like he's not as open or kind of tongue in cheek as much as his stuff. You see what I'm saying? And so you can tell this lawsuit is wearing on him because he can't really joke around as much as he did before. Remember all the times he said something about Jess Hilarious at times, said something about Meg Thee Stallion. And just, you know, it's kind of playing just like, oh, this is what I would do. You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't play Ocho. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, it's none of that anymore. It's just a little different now. You know what I'm saying? And so you can kind of tell that some of this stuff is eating at him. And so I'm just interested to see how much. But what, do you got any more information on
so basically, it was somebody who he had previously been in a relationship with. And apparently, like, this lady was married. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so she, like, I don't know if she tried to kill her husband or she tried to do something, you know, to her husband so that she could be with him. Mm-hmm. And so in one instance, he had to get a restraining order against her. And then today, I was listening to something that's like, it's somebody else saying they had a restraining order against him. So it's something like, and it's just stuff constantly coming out the woodworks. Like when he was with Fox Sports, when he was on the show with Skip, like Fox actually paid for the settlement, but it was a coworker who tried to. Okay, yeah, no, that's the one. That's the one who had the husband. Right, that's the one who had the husband. Right. Okay. So when I sent it to you, it was that one. But then, like I said, today, it's another one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then it was a chick that Fox actually paid like a couple of $100,000 to settle because I guess they were playing around at work, and she said that like, you know, he choked her or whatever. He put his hands around her neck or whatever, but they were kind of horse playing or whatever. But when it went bad or whatever, I guess, you know, she tried to say, but it's like now it's looking like, okay, he got a history of this. I am extremely disappointed in him. Whether he's innocent or guilty, and I hope he's innocent, but I am extremely disappointed, you know, in him.
But this is what happens when one lawsuit comes out.
True.
It's like a flood,
but
kind of comes on.
He didn't do, what does he always say? If you're gonna holler at somebody younger, it need to be half your age plus 7.
I remember him saying that.
Right, and that's per him. Per him.
Sounds
he
good.
should not be talking to nobody younger than 34, 35.
Yeah, because he's 50 plus.
56.
55,
yeah, he's 56.
That's a lot.
So, like, now when you met this girl, she was 19. Because she ain't number like 21 now. So, still, when you met her, she wasn't half your age. Plus, she was almost a third of your age.
Yeah. We clearly know.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then so it's just no, he wasn't thinking. And then this is the other part. Like, you want to clown Ocho all the time, talking about losing sponsors and being professional and da 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 da. And when Ocho had his incident, when he was still playing football, where he got into it, with his fiance at the time, and you know, and again, I hate when people say, "Oh, he headbutted her." Like, no, it was not a Chris Benoit headbutt. It was we in each other's face, and you know what I'm saying. You kind of lean. Now, technically, you want to be yes, it was, but like when you say head, but like people act like he just cocked his head back and just
he grabbed her head,
and it wasn't that. But guess what Ocho said? When people was like, "Oh, well, you know, he said no. He said I can still play. He said I fucked up. I brought the end of my career. He said I did that. He said I fucked up. He said the thing with New England, he said it wasn't that he said, first of all, he said when I got there, he said I didn't have time to read the playbook. And he said, I just thought I could go out there based on my natural talent and my athletic ability. He said with New England, you have to know that playbook. Period. And he said, so he got, but in terms of his mistakes, he never shies away from what he did. He never blames her. Right. He takes full accountability for himself. Even when he talks about how he used to get fined, he takes full accountability for himself. And what I'm disappointed in, because you had this person's like oh, we can't do that. We don't want to lose the spot. We got to be professional. Nigga, your whole life apparently is unprofessional. Yeah, man. And again, I hope that you're innocent, but you haven't done what you said that you should do. You know what I'm saying? You've disregarded the wise advice that you got from Monique and Cat Williams.
Your own guess.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't learned nothing. I mean, and he speaks with so much wisdom, and it's like, dude, like, you ain't learned shit. You almost 60 years old. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You like, when we call you Unc, that ain't just that's a badge of honor. We say that respectfully. We say that because you have so much knowledge and wisdom, and you're able to make us laugh, and you got all these stories, and we happy to be around you. And now we looking at you just shaking our heads.
For sure.
And so again, I hope that he's innocent, but I am extremely disappointed, because this is somebody who, based on his rise and how he moved from one career to the next one seamlessly. And I mean, I don't care what nobody say, not Vlad TV, not Joe Rogan. Nobody in such a short amount of time has done what he's done. Yeah. And he still, to this day, got the highest, most viewed video on YouTube right now.
Yeah, by far.
Pushing 90 million.
Yeah. Yeah, by far. Like, Shannon, man, like, from what you said, I would say I'm disappointed. Is definitely that. It's just sad, bro. Like, you know, because now it's just gonna keep on going. It's gonna keep flooding, like we said last week. A couple of his sponsors then took off. I think Boost Mobile and a few others. It's not even a part of his sponsorship and stuff anymore. And more people probably gonna continue to come out. More and more settlements. He probably gonna have to end up just coming out because at the end of the day, he gonna have to settle something. So some of that money is about to be gone. You know what I'm saying? So he has to keep the nightcap going. You know what I'm saying? And so he made a business decision with ESPN, so they couldn't necessarily fire him, and he had to give up all that money that he signed for. So he's just kind of on a hiatus to where now, if they did fire him, they still had to give him all the money back regardless. So that's a business play.
So what I was listening to, when I was listening to the Joe Budden podcast, and of course he has, I don't know if he's on the show now, but he's on there a lot. Mark Lamont Hill.
Yeah,
and they were saying that they talked to some executives at ESPN, and basically it was like, yeah, he ain't gonna be back. Like he say he gonna be back, he's not gonna be back.
Right.
Yep. And regarding that, keep in mind, Stephen A. said he understands why somebody would put their hands on a woman. Stephen A. still there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you've had other guys that go through situations and stuff like that. They're still there, but like this thing, and true enough, it might be a setup. It might be a money grab. But dudes, you brought this on yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then they trying to hit you with the Mann Act, which I think is bullshit. Cause every single we ain't gonna sit up here and get requests. But it's a lot of women that subscribe to our page, that like, that share. They done been flown out somewhere. They done traveled to get some dick.
Been flued out. You
know what I'm saying? Like, or somebody paid for their train ticket, their bus ticket, their gas money in their car if they drove. Yeah. They done flew somewhere or they done travel somewhere to get some dick. But basically, and again, the Mann Act was made, I believe it was 1910, against Jack Johnson, the black heavyweight champ, because he was married to, and it was his wife. He was married to a white woman, but they basically said that he was carrying her across state lines to engage in sexual acts.
Yeah.
And that is why they made that up, to prosecute him. And then come to find out, the lady was his wife, and it was like, oh, okay, but that was what the Mann Act was created for.
Yeah.
And so that's why when you got people like Chuck Berry, oh, he violated these. No, that basically he had some chicks that was traveling with him that he was sleeping with, and they tried to get him with that.
Yeah.
So now that Mann Act, if they want to apply, it could be your girlfriend, it could be your friend with benefits, it could be your cut buddy. It could be an old friend that y'all reconnected and then y'all, have a little spark. Mm-hmm. But they trying to hit him with the Mann Act, which is because he moved from L.A. to Vegas, and so she traveled from L.A. to Vegas, and so they're trying to say like, oh, okay, well, she received some type of gifts or money when she went from L.A. to Vegas, then he violated the Mann Act and it's trafficking.
Yeah. It's ugly, man. He put himself in that position, but it's messed up how they doing him. It is,
It's messed up how he did himself.
It messed up how he did
and
himself.
I'm not saying now, is he being railroaded? I'm almost 90% sure he is.
Definitely.
And it's a lot of people mad because he did what he did with that Cat Williams interview.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people upset with that. It's a lot of people upset because they've been podcasting way longer. And he got way more subscribers and views than they got. And he made way more money. Matter of fact, Nightcap just won a Webby Award.
Mm-hmm.
Like last month. Like, it's crazy. It was before the allegations came out. They just won a Webby.
Yeah.
For as a matter of fact, I want to say they got two of them. One of them is best sports podcast, and another one is best sports and best podcast. But they got two of them.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people upset. I'm disappointed in DJ Vlad because he is reveling.
Mm-hmm.
And you bet, you don't know who coming back for you, brother.
Yeah. And the thing about all this stuff is, because he owns his own podcast and media company and all these other shows, it's like you can almost probably think you're close to being invincible. And so at this point, the First Take, which is a #1 show on sports, that's his side gig.
Right.
And make it like that's his side gig, right? Mm-hmm. When First Take is a lot of people's main thing, right? Making millions of dollars. That's his side gig. And so, so you can tell, just what you said, like as fast as he's grew over the past 3 or 4 years, and his ratings and stuff going up, numbers going up all across his platforms, like he probably feeling himself thinking like, you know what I'm saying, he can't necessarily be touched because he can speak fluid. Mm-hmm. He can, you know what I'm saying, he'll tell you, he'll give you these gems, give you this wisdom, but at the end of the day, you ain't even following what you saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he's just being exposed on all levels. Obviously, we can say with the white women and catching all that heat, but then also you giving up all this wisdom and advice and saying, what you can do, and then when it comes to sports, talking to these cats in sports, like, man, you can't do that, you can't, talking to Ja Morant, you know what I'm saying? You can't do this. You're stupid. You jeopardizing your career. Which is true. But then on the other end, Shay, you out here talking to 19-year-olds, like, and you 55, 56 years old. So it's just messy, bro. I really hope the best for him, but it ain't looking good right now. And I think I said last week, I didn't think he was going to be back at ESPN. And that further clarified from what you heard, like, even...
that's what I'm saying. Mark Lamont. This wasn't Joe Budden that said it. This was Mark Lamont Hill that said that.
He's in the know.
Dr. Mark Lamont Hill.
Yeah.
That said that. Man,
he in the know.
I just, like I said, I'm extremely disappointed, and I really feel like I said this when this happened. Ocho should have went to the pivot. Because it seemed like everybody who Ocho hitches his wagon to, he hitched his wagon to I Am Athlete, and I don't know what the hell happened with Brandon Marshall, and it ain't been the same since they left. And then, Ocho started, and then he hitched his wagon over here, and this was way more successful than I Am Athlete. But and now I think at this point, you know what I'm saying, like, they don't need him now. I think if Ocho would have started with the pivot, that would have gave it a different dynamic. Yeah. Especially because him and Shannon are two different types of funny. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that would have just been great to see them go back and forth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then I think Ocho, too, when he has his reflective moments, is a little bit more serious than Shannon. And that would have given it a different dynamic. Because I think I thought they had a good dynamic when they was on I Am Athlete together. But now at this point, it's like you done screwed Ocho over because if this goes south, you know what I'm saying? Like, because Ocho got on ESPN finally. Yeah. Because of you. Yeah. And so now they may not want Ocho back because he's affiliated with you. Yeah. And he's loyal to you because still, every Nightcap episode, you see Ocho, on there. But then I don't know if you saw Ocho had the Cincinnati Bengals jersey covering up one of the sponsors. Yeah. And like you said, you don't see Boost Mobile on there no more. I ain't seen, really ain't seen Rose Sparks on there. I don't think you want to talk about that. That's like
the Rose Sparks definitely don't want no part of that.
Definitely don't want to talk about Rose Sparks.
He probably using that when he was.
Yeah. I mean, so it's like, man, I'm really extremely disappointed, man. And
it's all right. Before we shut down here, we got 100 men. Like it's been a trend last week. 100 men versus one gorilla.
What do you think?
I mean, this is a no-brainer for me. If you know gorilla, we talking about a silverback. That's what I'm thinking about. A silverback gorilla. The size, the strength, who will come out on top? Definitely the gorilla, in my view. Because
you think so?
Yeah. Now, what? Yeah. Whoever, like, if you want to bring like I said, 100 Shaqs or whoever you want to, not just 100 regular men. I think a gorilla will come out on top because if you know their skin is like, how can you? And we're talking no weapons. That's what I saw. It's no weapons. You know what I mean? If it's some weapons, hey, it's over with. But we talking about bare strength, hands, fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, the gorilla gonna chew through the first 20, and then the rest of the 80 gonna be like, we going. You know what I'm saying? We sprinting. So I think it's clear. I think the gorilla will win. Tell me what you think, right? Because obviously you thinking a little different.
Who's at the top of the food chain?
We at the top of the food chain.
Now keep in mind, and I'm not even gonna we can argue about dinosaur. Ain't nothing no nigga ever seen a dinosaur. Mm-hmm. All we can say is it is some like hieroglyphics, some cave drawings where it looked like people throwing spears and shit at a big ass dinosaur looking thing. But like you seen a rhinoceros. Mm-hmm. It's species of rhinoceri that are extinct because we killed them. It's bull elephants, big ass elephants that are extinct because we killed them. Our ability to strategize is not just the animal instinct of swinging and retaliating. Mm-hmm. Our ability to plan and strategize. And again, you're talking about 10 men. Mm-hmm. Talking about 100.
Now, okay.
So now you got 100 men.
Right.
Now, and so like to your point, like we ain't talking about, okay, it ain't got to be Shaq. 100 Brock Lesnar's. You know what I'm saying? 100 John Bones Joneses.
Triple H.
But you got to keep in mind, too, and I actually Googled this. There have been no known cases where a gorilla has killed a human being. Mm. And think about what's the lady's name? Jane Goodall. The lady that was living with the gorillas and, you know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't kill her ass.
Yeah.
So now if we can get, and it's actually, if you Google it, it said they're actually pretty shy. So now, if we can get them some again, do we have weapons? Are we back? Like, cause again, that's what you got to factor in too. And again, it just said 100 men versus a gorilla. It didn't say fish fight. It didn't say wrestling. It just said 100 men versus a gorilla.
Now, what you're saying is that, which I can agree with this. You're saying that men, it's like we out there in the jungle, we're gonna find a way to make something out of this wood, this tree thing, or something. Naturally, some people have a strategy to make a spear out of something that's right over here. You know what I'm saying, or something of that nature. I'll give that. I will give that. I will put that caveat in there.
Crocodile hunter, like this man. Now, keep in mind, I would wrestle a crocodile and I might get my ass ate up. But nigga, Steve Irwin made a living, and think about all the wild animals that he tussled with. It was a weak ass stingray that he wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
You know, he got caught off guard by a weak ass stingray.
Yeah.
But this man sitting up here wrestling with crocodiles and alligators and everything like that because he knew what to do. And this is one regular, like he wasn't buff like Brock Lesnar or John Bones Jones or Batista or John Cena. He's just a regularly built man from Australia, but was wrangling with crocodiles and snakes and like, oh, this python, if it gets around you, it'll choke you, mate. Like, but he's sitting up here handling this big ass python. So now, again, are these 100 military guys, 100 warriors, 100, like, keep in mind, like we saw, what is the movie, 300?
Yeah.
Like, but these was 300 killers. Like, this is what we do. And we beat 3,000. But this is what we do for a living. Like, we train for this. So, like, when you say 100 men, okay, you talking about 100 accountants.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like 100
men. Yeah,
100 guys that just graduated high school.
Yeah.
You know, that ain't got that grown man strength yet. You know what I'm saying? So when I say that, I'm just thinking about, like, again, you look at all these animals that have gone extinct, and we made them extinct. And some of it wasn't just us building highways and roads and they getting hit by cars. It's like, we hunted these animals into extinction. And I'm not talking about, like, the dumbass dodos or the passenger pigeon or whatever. I'm talking about, like, them giant-ass, the ivory lion.
Yeah.
Or the Barbary lion, whatever type of lion. Like, the lion, like, standing on 4 legs was 8 feet tall.
Yeah. Like,
it don't even look real. And we hunted that 8 foot tall damn lion into extinction. And that's the king of the jungle. But we the king of the fucking planet. And that's all I'm saying. Yeah. So now don't get it twisted. If it's 5 of us, my money's on the gorilla. 10, I'm leaning more toward the gorilla. But when you get up to like 50, because again, they don't, even the way they move. You know what I'm saying? Like, we move, you know, like that. They don't move like that. They turn all the way around. Yeah. They have to turn their whole body around to move like that. So now, if he's focusing on 5 of us in front of him, and it's another 15 behind, like, they got tendons and stuff like we do. You tear them tendons up. You incapacitate them arms. You hit them upside the head with something, and they get a concussion. Yeah. Like at that point, like I said, now the question is, which 10 of us are gonna sacrifice ourselves?
That's gonna be more than 10.
You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna put 10, 15 up that's in good shape, but they got like some type of condition where they ain't got long to live anyway, so they don't mind going first. Yeah. But I'm just saying, the sheer volume of the numbers. Now, again, if we talking about a pack of gorillas, that's different.
Yeah, pack different.
You know what I'm saying? But like one gorilla, like, I mean, even with when they killed that gorilla in the zoo, Harambe. Harambe, when they got that little boy out the cage, it's like his injuries was non-life threatening. Like he would recover in a few days. But it was just the fact that he was playing. Harambe was playing. Harambe just got the little boy and he dragging him around or whatever, and they shot Harambe. But like Harambe didn't even try to attack the little boy. And so that's what I'm saying. Like they're not known to kill humans, and so now you got a non-hostile creature towards us, and we're coming choosing violence. So we got the advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like depending on where them shots land, right. And that's all I'm saying. Now again, I'm not saying that he's to your point. He's valid. He's physically stronger than one man, and
but it's interesting. I can't be mad at that because I can see 100 resourceful men as far as knowing, like I said, Navy SEAL type dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like that can be resourceful out there in the wild. That could, you know what I'm saying?
If I had 100 views, all I'm giving each 100 of you, and you know better than I do. I'm giving you the best tennis racket ever made. I'm giving 100 JBs 100 tennis rackets. And that serve, nigga, that got you your college scholarship. You know what I'm saying? Like the way you swing, and you know how fast that serve was. Yeah. The force that you swing, you know how powerful that backhand was. So now if 10 of y'all distracting the gorilla with tennis balls in the front, and then it's 15 behind the gorilla with the backhand, come on, man.
Be different. Like I said, I ain't mad at that.
You catching behind the ear with that titanium racket? Come on, man. Stop.
All right, now we got anything else before we get to these quickies? I think you said something about Antonio and Big Ben or something.
Oh, it's man like Antonio Brown is an ass clown. Like this dude, and so it ain't just verse Big Ben, it's verse him and Asante Samuel too.
Yeah, he been going to Prime too, I saw.
Right. So Prime paid him to work out with Shiloh. Yeah. To help him prepare for the NFL out of respect. And we're not going to shit on Antonio Brown. Like, he was a phenomenal player.
Yeah, definitely.
Whatever is above diva, he was definitely that. I don't think that he could have worked for any team beyond Pittsburgh because Mike Tomlin worked with him. And he had guys on that team who were patient with him because nobody else would not have tolerated that. He couldn't have went to New England and did that.
Nope.
I don't know. I don't know. Like hell, we know how crazy. What's the dude that used to own Washington? Snyder.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been able to go to Washington and do that. I mean, it's not too much Cincinnati. He wouldn't have been able to go and do that. Hell, Cleveland has no one to pay nobody, so he wouldn't have been able to it's a lot of organizations he could not have went and done that with. Hell, San Francisco got rid of T.O., and T.O. is you remember that show Recess? The cartoon Recess back in the day?
Recess.
It's like it was a little dude that was a snitch. Like T.O. was a snitch compared to Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like T.O. was Steve Urkel compared to Antonio Brown. like in this dude, so now he said Big Ben is mad at him because his sister sucked his dick. And that, like I said, man, it's stuff like that. Like, who cares? And so now not only are you trying to come at me, but you're embarrassing this young lady who, if that is true, that's between y'all. Nobody asked. And you're involving people that don't have nothing to do with your beef with him.
Yeah, yeah, I don't. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Even if Big Ben is salty about that, like because now you're embarrassing this person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like stuff that he did versus his children's mother. Like this dude is an ass clown, man. Like I don't have no sympathy for him. I get sick of all the excuses. Everybody talk about what happened to you when you was a child. Like, you're a grown ass man. You pushing 40, if not already 40.
Oh, yeah, he definitely should be 40 by now.
You know what I'm saying? And so you still making excuses about what happened to you when you was 6 years old. That's bullshit. That's lack of accountability. That's lack of responsibility. You making all that money. You can pay for a therapist or somebody to talk to and listen to you and all of your woe is me. My life is shit. Trade paychecks with me, nigga.
Yeah.
And then you really have a reason to why. But you don't hear me out here crashing out. And I got a fraction of what you got, and we can sit up and talk about, like, I had a whole bunch of shit happen to me when I was a kid too. But you don't hear me making excuses about, you know what I'm saying? And I just don't. I am sick of Antonio Brown and his antics. I hope he gets help, but at this point, like, I don't even care no more, man.
Yeah, it is what it is, bro. I don't know what to say about Brandon Way. Couple minutes left. Let's get these quickies real quick, man. You said something. First of all, I want to give a shout out to. Well, I don't want to give a shout out. We got a new coach with the Grizzlies, Isola.
Boo.
You know, I don't like it. You know,
Should have got Mark Jackson.
I thought we would do a more thorough search, but clearly it was already in the bag when we got rid of Jenkins of what we were gonna already do.
You could have got Mark Jackson. You could have got Mike Malone. You could have got
Mike Brown,
Mike Budenholzer.
Yeah,
shit.
So I'm not a fan of that.
One of the damn Van Gundys.
Yeah.
Sam Cassell.
Definitely Van Gundy. Yep. Now, what is it? Aaliyah album? I saw you say something about that. Aaliyah?
Yeah, so like, cause they released a song with her, and I believe it was Tank. And I mean, again, Aaliyah was a very impactful artist. When she was living, I don't know. Like, to me, a posthumous album should be within maybe the first 1 to 3 years when an artist passes.
Right. Yeah.
Or if you've got somebody who's got the catalog of a Prince or Michael Jackson, I can see them having one, you know, and it's 10 years later and it's like, oh, these are all these unreleased recordings. I don't know that I'm not sure she had 5 albums by the time she passed away.
Nah, not the time she passed.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
and so like to be releasing and again, this is going on, what, 25 years almost? 23 years?
I think 02.
Yeah, so it's like 23 years since she passed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so, you know, what is the point? To me, it's just a cash grab. Like,
yeah, they're all thinking like they family want some money, want
right.
some, you know, probably some of that, because it doesn't make any
right.
type of sense to me, because at the time, like, she's iconic in that generation because of what she could have been. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody look at her because she was doing all the movies and, you know, trajectory going for music and movies. She was kind of one of the first of her kind to kind of really cross over like that. Mm-hmm. You know, in the new age type situation. But she was before she passed, she was bigger than Beyonce. Before she passed, because Beyonce didn't really come into that.
And she didn't have a time. Thing of she never got to fall off.
Right. Nobody
ever got to say she fell off. Like when you look at people like Aaliyah, like you look at like a Tupac, a Biggie, I don't think, like, the reason why I don't think like a Left Eye gets mentioned in the same breath as them three is because Left Eye's top was with TLC. Mm-hmm. And then so like you got her not with TLC, her doing her own thing, and like we ain't really checking for, like, we love you because of TLC, but now you're you know what I'm saying? And so for her, it's like, oh, we love Left Eye, but it's not like with Tupac. Tupac was at the peak. Biggie was at the peak. Aaliyah, like you said, it wasn't just, and then she just, with that Rock the Boat, bam, and hit the chart. And then, like you said, she had 2 or 3 movies she was in when she passed. You know what I'm saying? It was Romeo Must Die, the Queen of the Dam, I think, movie she was in. But like, and, you know, doing commercials and all of this stuff. She was a very beautiful girl. a beautiful woman. So she was trending upward, and so to your point, I think a lot of us, it's like, dang, what could she have? Where was the ceiling?
Right.
Because she wasn't even close to the ceiling yet.
Right. And that's the whole thing with that, because you know what I'm saying. Aaliyah was ahead of her time as far as, especially because of the production she was getting from Timbaland.
Oh yeah.
Which made her, she was a talent, but then Timbaland just took it to the moon. You know what I mean? Anything else we got with the quickies? Real quick.
Yeah, was that? I know I had
I think
something.
you said something finesse 2 times or something.
Oh man, this is crazy. Like, so yeah, like he violated his probation because this is one of his artists who's a kid from here or whatever, and clearly he's not 10 years old yet, but he was talking about some of the stuff that they was doing, and that had to do with him violating his probation because I guess with them smoking or whatever, I don't know. But the fact that you are going back and forth with a child,
Yeah.
we're not talking about a teenager, we're not talking about a young adult, we're talking about this nigga's in elementary school.
Yeah.
This nigga has no, like, because the little kid, I watched the video, and he's sitting there doing his hand, he talking with his hands like that. Like, this nigga has no facial hair. Like, the little boy got his shirt on, he ain't got no body hair. Like, this nigga don't have no peach fuzz.
Yeah.
It's like I'm looking at the video like I'm watching Elias or it's biased.
Right.
Like I'm clearly watching a kid, and it's like, dude, you are a grown ass man. It is no reason for you to be going back and forth with a child. And one of my favorites. Yeah. Finesse is one of my favorites.
Finesse that dude, man.
But in full objectivity,
yeah.
It's just like you ain't never seen me. Even when I've talked about children on the internet, what I've said is that we got to be more responsible in how we raise our children. I ain't called out no kids specifically or where I was at. I might have given a scenario, but I'm not finna be beefing with no child.
Yeah.
And so for somebody who has overcome the things that he's overcome, survived the things that he's survived, that is not a good look.
Yep. No, definitely, yeah. When I remember when you sent it to me, I was like, that don't sound good. So, but yeah, man. Hopefully, he get back on the good foot, because at one time it seemed like Finesse was kind of turning the tide a little bit. He kind of got away from, kind of the messiness that he was trying to do and trying to get his life, back on the right track. So, hopefully he continues that, man. But y'all, until next time, continue with that executive mindset.
And most definitely keep it presidential.
Salute.
Arrivederci. Bow.
Where is that? All right. Boy. But yeah, okay. But yeah, man. One thing I wanted to say, you should try to with your family, y'all start going to church or something. You know what I mean? A church. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they'll probably obviously solve any problems, but maybe it'll move the ball in the proper direction to get some stability. Kind of in that. Cause I know you be working on Sundays or something. I'm not sure her situation or whatever, but it's a church, whatever it is, whether that's breath or whatever. It's like you do that. Cause I'm thinking I know you still a member of breath, right? Proper direction. Whatever it is, whether that's breath or whatever.
Oh, we still on.
It's like